buck. Putting some horns on. Look at you. Pretty. Look at this. There is a double beam buck right there. He has got a third antler sticking out. That is pretty darn cool. He looks like he's going to be a pretty nice deer. Bachelor group. Not bad for being 100 yards from the National Forest. Y'all just stay across the line, y'all be all right. So I just popped out here to go a little camera retrieval this morning. There's a group of deer right there. Look at them. Going out to do a little last camera retrieval and a little scouting of the year. Hop out and there's like 9 deer on the public side. Well, that is a little bit of a first for me. That's about the most deer I've ever seen in the National Forest at one time. It's in the springtime. It only makes sense. Can't see them while you're hunting. That'd be too easy. Just to get out of the car, see them 50 yards from the trail. Hope you guys are doing good. I am out here doing my last camera pick before the summer, before I start to plan based on last year's intel where we're going to place next year's towards the end of the summer. So I don't plan on being here long, but pretty awesome. I got to see a little herd of deer. Sat there and watched them before I got out of the car, and gonna move on, hopefully catch up with y'all on the next spot that we're gonna scout today. It's gonna be pretty darn sweet. It's gonna be a little bit of a saddle in between 2 hubs, and I'm hoping we'll get a chance to talk about that a little bit and really get a visual if the spot checks out to be as good as I hope. So with that said, I'm gonna get down here and gather up everything I need and see you guys at the next spot. Well, camera's still there. That's a good sign. Pick that bad boy off and get out of here. Alright, and camera number 2 is down. Well, look at that stick. That stick looks good right there, son. I don't care who you are. Hey. Alright. Let's get out of here. Alright, we made it to the second spot. I've been here about 10 minutes. And I'm in love. It's such an odd spot. I really didn't, this was either gonna be awesome or it was gonna be crap. I'm getting up here, I already walked in and started finding tracks and tracks, big doe tracks, a couple of really good buck tracks. I'm already back here, you can see this behind me. It's just a pocket of vine and blackberry. There's a little scrub oak right here. There's a water oak right here. There's just all kinds of thick vine cover, and there's like a little hill right here, a hillside. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. There's a rub right here. Rub right here. I'm on a trail of tracks all up there. Oh my gosh, just a huge pocket of diversity. Now I'm walking down one of the trails. So the spot that I'm headed to, the reason I'm going here, oh man, just a worn out trail right here. Tracks all right here. There's the trail. So initially, the reason I'm headed to this spot is it's a very unique spot that I don't find very often out here in the National Forest. And what it does is there's two kind of what people would call thermal hubs. There's a couple of small ridges. We do have ridges here, you could say, or at least it's a place where a couple of different creeks come together, at least three, and they're connected. This one actually has a little drain that connects one hub. Kind of go up a hill and you got to travel about another 400 or 500 yards to get to another one, but there's actually a little drain that connects the two, and I don't find that very often where there's one that actually connects all of them, or both of them. Right off of here, and I'm already just finding amazing diversity. I found a little grove of sand pines over here. I can't remember the last time I've seen those. Those are like little stumpy, they're like Florida pines. They smell like Christmas trees almost. And they're just beautiful, but they're short. They don't get real big, but they provide a ton of cover, and they're unique. So that's another diversity characteristic that you don't find very often. Anytime you start finding stuff you hadn't seen before, slow down and pay attention. That's about to be what I'm gonna do, so. Man, getting super excited. Bunch of trails converging in right here. Oh, I'm walking back here and all these blackberries and honeysuckles, and found this little spot right here. Looks like it could be a little deer bed. Just tucked up in the middle of all that. It's just an odd little spot to be so flat in the middle of all this vine. Always stop and look. It doesn't, oh man, I am tangled up. Oh. See there. Nice fat blackberry right there. So you can see out there, I'm about 20 yards into the thicket, and that's open timber. I was walking and there's a little drain. This stuff just seems like it's impenetrable when you look around. It's just super thick, and all of a sudden there's this little muddy drain, the only one that goes up into this thicket so far, and look at that. And it looks like somebody carved out this trail just to get up in there, but it's all natural. Unreal. Wow. Let's keep going and see if we can. You can see there's the other side of the forest over there. It's just a little patch. But anytime you find these little patches, just like that last video, where they were in that short thicket, they're in this one too. So I just popped out on this other side, and this is just knee-deep ferns. I mean, just perfect bedding. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, it is a blanket of ferns. Jeez. I don't know when to stop filming because it's just so much to see. I'm never going to make it back to where I want to go. But all of this is fern. So one thing I like to do when I get in this really monotonous brush, there's a lot of browse, a lot of forbs and everything like that. I like to go until I find the first oak tree on the edge of one of these thickets. And that's what you see behind me, right there. Huge oak, It's right here on the edge. There's a small one right here. I think there's another one over there that I'm about to go check. Looks like a red oak over there. Of course, there's a lot of sweet gums and things like that, which that's okay. Sweet gum make good climbing trees. But always mark those big oaks closest to the thicket where there's no trees, because if that thing gets hot, that could be a hot feed tree right there. And there's not a lot of them, so dang, I'm loving this spot, loving it. Could be a really good late season spot, because this is the type of cover that's going to hold out all year. Early season, maybe they'll be a little bit back more to the forest side where there's more natural hardwoods, but cover's king out here. That's what I've learned a lot of the times. They'll get to those oaks if, you know, however long it takes, but they can't make cover like this anywhere else. Pretty awesome. Dadgummit, I just jumped a hog. That's the only reason I wore orange today. That hog was laying right there. I was trying to get my camera on and my gun out so I could be ready to shoot. Right about the time I turned my camera on, that hog got out of here. This is crazy. This fern is waist deep. Actually kind of worries me. I might step on a hog, get tore up. Come on, go back close to the cover. I thought for sure I was going to jump a deer, but what's good for the hog is good for the deer too. So I'm making my way up this drainage, and it kind of goes up into one of these thickets. And actually, right in here, you can see this little strip of thicket actually comes out and almost meets this drainage right here. So right up here, it's a perfect little pinch point. Across that side, it's a lot more open, it's been thinned. But over here, this is where the cover is. And the thicket, this is the north side of the thicket. So on the south wind, you could sit downwind of this, sit on this side of this creek, and maybe catch some cruising. So I'm gonna go up against the little thicket, see if I can find a good rub line or a decent trail or something that leads out to maybe a creek crossing. Right here, you see this thicket is pushing closer and closer, and right here, it's only about 20 yards wide. Seems like the perfect spot for a camera or a little ambush spot. There's actually a little gap in the trees right here where something could come through. So I just talking over there, and I made my way over here. And this actually works out perfect. One thing I love to look for is the end of these drains, these drain heads, where the longer they go, they're nasty and steep. And then right here where sometimes they just stop. This one stops real abrupt. And there's basically, you got this tree, and right here is a perfect little easy crossing. And look up behind me, and that thicket, more open pines back over there. This thicket reaches out and touches almost this bank. Right here is definitely a perfect spot, just as a little pinch. Keep in mind for scouting. Out here, In Texas National Forest, a good pinch or funnel is almost your best bet all the time. So it took me a little while, but I walked up, ended up finishing up walking up that drain, and it died right here. There's a ditch head right there again. And I crossed it over, but look what it runs into. This massive, just super thick briar thicket. A lot of scrub oaks, ferns and ragweed and stuff everywhere. Greenbrier. And then, where'd it go? There's a little clump of poop right there. That stuff is super thick, and it's not real wide. It's a thin strip. I'm actually going to try to skirt around it, go up the other side. The place I still want to get is way back there. Okay, so I popped out on one end of this hub. There's kind of a hill to my south, hill to the north. There's this long, it's not a drainage. I don't know, it's just the topography. It's odd. It's just long, fairly steep. It's a low area, so it seems like there's more oaks, but it connects this bottom over here to a bottom over there about 300 or 400 yards away. And right here where it fanned out, there was a ton of these little saplings, rubs, just so tempting to rub. There's just 1,000 little 2-inch saplings, 5 or 6 different rubs right there. A couple of big, it's a big live oak right here. And there's a couple of water oaks over there. So that's always good to have a couple of feed trees at the end of a saddle, essentially, or a pinch. I'm gonna walk this pinch all the way to the other end where it opens up on the other side, see what that looks like, and then take the feeder creek out of here. See what we find along the way. I'm hoping to find rubs along this just to indicate some cruising, or at least a little pre-rut activity. They're cruising, they might not be rubbing so much, but we'll see. I can see a little path through here, so it looks promising. I hope, anyway, whatever that means. Well, walking out here kind of fast because my phone's about dead. But I hit this L in the creek and I made a 90. So basically I'm heading south down the gully. And look at the tracks. Found an old scrape back there about 50 yards back. And some of this is hog tracks, but a whole lot of it isn't. A lot of doe tracks. Lots and lots of doe tracks. I see a couple of small buck tracks. Wow. Definitely some game in the area, I think you would say. There's a hill up to my right. It falls down here in this creek. And I'm just walking it, checking it out on my way out. I actually want to come back and look at this, but man, look at all the tracks this time of year. There's some pig tracks too, but definitely a lot of deer tracks. All right, guys, I got out of there. I just pulled over just to close this thing out, and I got out of there. My phone was going dead. I got to get back. I actually worked shift last night, so I hadn't slept in almost 24 hours, so it's probably going to be another 8 hours before I go to bed. But overall, super awesome day. Found a great spot. I'm probably going to have to almost stop scouting and at least focus on continuing to scout some of these really good spots that I've really keyed in on the last couple of years, and start focusing on them, breaking them down into like 250 acre chunks. That's what I've done with one of my other spots, and it's really paid off. Almost had a hog. I don't know if I got it on camera. I pulled my pistol on this hog at like 3 steps, and my pistol holster came out on my pistol, camera in one hand, pistol in the other. So I'm reaching over, trying to tuck it, pull it, and it took off. Could have dotted it right in the side of the head, and we would have had a pretty awesome video, point blank shot on the hog at 3 steps in the National Forest. But at least I was ready. So I had my orange on and I was ready. But a lot of deer tracks. Saw some deer this morning. That was super cool. That double beam buck was pretty cool, and that sucker was only about 100 yards from the National Forest. So
that's pretty interesting. I don't put a lot of effort into hunting that particular area. I hunted cameras there last year, but might have to find a way because there's definitely a good little herd of deer out there. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We got some cool videos coming up. We're gonna look at the Ridge Runner versus the new Lone Wolf Custom Gear Fix saddle platform. We're gonna talk about scrapes and why you don't hunt those for bucks, and we've been hunting them wrong. And we're also gonna talk about the new bow, the new spot hog sight, all the French tuning, everything that's going into that. That's been getting set up, and it's just been work, been trying to cram that stuff in. So it's gonna be some really cool gear stuff coming up too. And keep grinding it out, waiting for deer season, and it'll be here before you know it. Hopefully we get some fishing in soon and talk about some plans. So hope you guys have a blessed day. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. If you haven't yet, just drop me a comment, say hi, and subscribe to the channel. Help the long tall Texan out, you know, and I will love you, so thank you. See y'all later.